How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. I am we just had a family trip to the dentist. So Freya had
Oh,
her first ever dentist appointment.
wow. I'm so sad that I can't come along to these things because of the virus. Like you already know that I would want to go to her first dentist appointment to get pictures of her all crazy with
I
wish
know.
did they have her mouth all bushy going insane?
No, it was just like the dentist just basically just put the fingers in the mouth and just took a quick look because Freya was like, "Who is this near me?" And
What are they trying to Well, at least they weren't putting nappy cream as her toothpaste, Lou.
I know I did that. I can't. You know what? I realized after I did it, I was like, seems a bit thick, but luckily it was fine. I managed to get it out of her mouth quickly.
That's one of my favorite new parent stories of yours, Lou, because you you guys started out like it's so funny to watch you guys start out as like brand new parents, and now it's almost as if you're parents of three, but
Yeah.
you're really parents of one, and you're just like so used to it by now, like calm, cool, collected, Lou, and it's like so crazy to like have known you guys for like I feel like really was what almost 6 months, maybe a year before Charles was pregnant. What
Yep.
was it, 6 months?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, yeah,
So like
it's been a while. I can't even figure out the dates.
like
When was she pregnant? I
I
mean,
don't I
like
don't remember how
March
long
or
I knew you
something.
guys before she was pregnant. It's We were at Coachella, and I remember you guys like were telling me like, "Oh no, we're being good this year." Like, and I was like, "Huh?"
I know. It's because we hadn't got the results back on. I think it was the 3 month result or something like that. So we didn't want to tell anyone.
I know.
But
I
you pretty
was
much guessed straight away. Yeah. It's always that thing is when you're out somewhere and it's like, oh, I'm not drinking. Then it's like, oh shit, there's only one thing that you're pregnant or you just left rehab.
Yeah.
You're a recovering alcoholic. One of the two. It's never just like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I just don't fancy doing anything.
Well, I mean, I was afraid you were gonna quit, remember? Like you're like, I have something we want to tell you. And I'm like, oh my God. I oh no, you're quitting. Um, so welcome to In My Feels.
But this is the first one we've actually done that's one on one.
I know.
We've done what 17 episodes now, which is insane.
Over the
17 weeks.
past, yeah.
Who's been your favorite?
Who's been my favorite? Um, honestly, I can't like this is like the most genuine answer. I couldn't pick a favorite. I was trying to think because I knew that question was going to be something that we talked about, but like so many people stuck out to me. Obviously, I loved having Mary on the show, and
Mary was amazing.
Mary's
So
incredible. But like,
I actually hit her up and was like, "You should be a show regular." Like I genuinely,
yeah, I know, right? You, me, and Mary.
she's amazing. Such a, I
She's
mean, personality wise, this her intellect in terms of universal knowledge is insane.
Yeah, she's incredible. Obviously Duncan Trussell was an incredible episode. He's like do you follow him on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him on Instagram, like just posting from his absurd bathtub shower, and he's like, I don't know if you saw his most recent video, it's hilarious. But yeah, I mean we've had like a lot of good from the jump. I mean, what was our very first episode?
Who was our first episode? Jay Shetty, wasn't it? No, no, no. Gary V.
Was it Gary V, our very first episode?
Yes. Yeah. So Gary V is coming back on as well.
Which I would put up there as one of my other top. I can't really, honestly, I feel like we just learn so much about each individual. Who would you say your favorite is? Because like I sit and think about them all, and they're all so different.
So different. Yeah.
Um,
I
and they
mean,
all have such different stories, gifts, and
I
all of
mean,
that.
I mean, Duncan Trussell was amazing. I mean, they're all amazing. Like
I
Duncan
know.
Trussell was amazing. Damien Eccles was incredible.
Damien!
Yes.
Damien blew my mind.
Matthew Walker, the sleep scientist, blew my mind too. So you're right; they're all so different in such a different specified field that it's hard to pinpoint exactly which one. Maybe it's this one.
Yeah, I would honestly say that this would probably be the most like, I don't know, chill. I mean, definitely the most chill one that we've done so far. The reason Lou and I wanted to kind of do this is we've never had an episode of just us talking about what we're going through, or how we're feeling. Um, you guys know a lot about me, but you haven't really had that much time to learn about Lou and him personally and all of that. And I just feel like this was a really good time to do so. And like, we miss each other. We live only 10 minutes away, but like, we're going into another lockdown. I can't even believe it.
Are we?
Oh yeah.
I
Which
you know
I've
me.
been
I'm like
locked.
in. I'm like
I've
no news. I don't know what's going on. So
Yeah.
where
Do
did
you
you?
know who got elected as president? I'm just kidding.
I just about know that. Just about.
But yeah, I've heard we're going into another lockdown, but I'm like, I've I've stayed locked down. I've been pretty locked down. So, um, you know, Lou and I we wanted to get this episode out there where we finally talk one on one.
I think I want to start on a super positive. I mean, nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammys. I mean, which I mean, everyone's like, when I saw it, I can't believe it. I was like, I fucking knew it. I've
I
always
love
said,
you.
I've always said, what did I say from the beginning? I wasn't talking about Grammys and stuff. I said, focus on the music and the rest will take care of itself. And that's literally what you did. You literally focused on creating great fucking music. The EP, the End of Everything EP, July, Lonely, like all those records are true to you and exactly kind of what we set out to do, and you delivered it. And I mean, I'm not surprised when I saw it. I kind of knew that it was coming because I mean, we're so deep in it. It's very hard for us, and I don't take other people's reactions as gospel, but you're seeing select people that you look up to hit you up, be like, "This is a great fucking EP." And it wouldn't necessarily be like a fan. It would be like someone who's like a good friend of yours would be like, "Yo, I literally just listened to Noah's EP. It's probably the best EP I've heard in a very long time." And I'd be like, "Oh shit."
Oh,
But when you're in it, you're making it. All you're focused on is making great stuff. So I want to ask you, like, how do you feel about this whole process? Like now, how your record's coming out? Like, what space are you in?
I'm in probably the clearest space I've been in like 2 years. Um, I musically have evolved so much, and again, when I met Lou last year in January or February, um, I had not 1 ounce of confidence. I have a little bit more now, and uh, I was like technically just kind of terrified of being out and vulnerable as an artist. And Lou really helped me find myself in that way. And not only as a friend, but Lou is also my A&R, and we just had a really close bond through, you know, when we met. It wasn't what helped me get so close to Lou was when we met, it wasn't immediately about the music. He just cared about how I was as a human being, and he helped me get to where I needed to be first. And then we started working on the music and we started working on everything, and that's how everything fell into place. But I would say for the EP and the End of Everything, I don't think I would have written this song, The End of Everything, if the lockdown wouldn't have happened, or if any of this would have happened, because like writing it from my couch and like looking outside and kind of picturing the end of the world while this kind of like apocalyptic thing was happening, like the streets were empty. It was very like hard to also like not fall into bad habits during quarantine and not reverse. And so, you know, music was like the only thing that I had to focus on. And I put my everything into my music. I put all my emotions, all of my hurt, all of my sadness, all the betrayal, all the love that I've ever felt in my life. I got to sit with it and I got to create it. And I genuinely have like never looked back at something like I do this. There's when I think about everything where I actually genuinely feel really proud of myself. And that's the first time that I've genuinely felt very, very proud of myself, was creating this EP. And it wasn't because of the stream numbers or because of course I'm grateful, I'm blessed that all of that comes with it, that people are loving my music. And I just got nominated as best new artist. But I think just the most rewarding thing was like, I'm making something that I actually love, that I can put out with full confidence. And this is something that I can have confidence in. When I don't have confidence in myself, I can look at my music and I know that I can do that. And I know that's what I'm meant to do. And I know that's why I'm here. And I know that's my purpose. And that's just something that I kind of, you know, been reminding myself every day. But hello, I wouldn't have gotten a Grammy nom if it wasn't for you. So hello, how were you feeling that day?
I'm feeling, I mean, I'm always great. I mean, I think my goal when we started working together wasn't, again, I don't focus on the accolades of it. And I know you don't either. I mean, they're nice, they're amazing. But for me, I think it was getting you in a headspace where you could channel your energy, your anxieties, your stresses into your music rather than let it affect your music and your life. And anyone listening who's kind of, you know, feeling that type of way, who doesn't have anything, you know, like the music side of it or any of that type of stuff. I mean, you just have to really knuckle down and know that your life is the actual meaning. So we're always searching for the meaning. Obviously, Noah's meaning is her music, which has always been, she's always been a part of that. I've always been a part of music, and my meaning is everything, with music and family and friends and everything else. But I know that my life is the meaning. So I was feeling, I was so happy for you. I was like elated. I was, because
But
I
it was a team effort. Like, you
absolutely,
know,
no, yeah, for
yeah.
sure. But I mean, for you personally, for me, because you know, I adore you and I love everything you stand for. I love the music you create. I love that you're super honest with everything. You wear your heart on your sleeve. Um, and yeah, I just felt like it was super well deserved, obviously. But it was, if people could see the inner workings and you in the studio and you know, the writing, the thought process that goes into it, the lyrical content, and to be honest, I was super proud of this, the music that we made. Because it's a great fucking record. It's honestly, it is. I mean, it's one of the best EPs I've heard in a very, very long time. And I've been doing this a very long time. It's true though. I mean, like, if you you know, all the songs, they all make sense. They all fit stylistically. They're incredible. Um, and yeah, it was just a great thing to be a part of. You know,
Lou, I love
I'm
it.
happy to be a part of it. Like, it's something I'm super proud of.
Thank you.
Um, and but you know, back to the kind of spiritual sense of it. You know, if for people who's listening spiritually, Noah is the controller of her whole universe, and she always has been. It's just she's never seen it clearly as she's seeing it now. So all of her thoughts, emotions, her feelings, all of that stuff is in her music. It's trapped in her music. And the fact that she created from such an honest place, I mean, to be honest, like, in terms of the process, so people can understand the process of the kind of music. When Noah wrote July, it wasn't essentially the happiest time or the happiest place she was in, but it's the way the song rolled out and everyone else was behind it. So Noah was like, I love this song. Everyone was like, I love this song. She wrote this song super quick on a trip in Bali. Sent me this song. I was like, this song's fucking amazing. We have to finish it. We finished it, and it was just put out. There was no expectation. There wasn't, this is going to chart or this is going to get X amount of streams. So we had no resistance to the actual song coming out. So therefore, we knew emotionally how much we loved the song, and we let the song go. And then the song started building and started getting all these natural streams. And it's had like, I don't know, 800 million streams now. And again, that whole thought process. So the plan is to continue to come out with that. And you can see from other releases you've had, Noah, how much resistance is behind those, or the anticipation or the expectation. Whereas July and the Lonelies and all those, the End of Everything's, there wasn't as much resistance. It was just like, I love this, so I'm going to put it out. And I think we forget that in the structure of the labels and the music and everything else. It's about the music.
1000%. Yeah. And that's why, like, you know, I've been a fan of John Mayer, like, my whole life. Always looked up to John Mayer. And when I met John Mayer, he told me how much he loved July, and how when I sing that song, I'm going to feel brand new every time I sing it. And it's going to be exciting every time I perform it. And songs like that don't die out to you or to whomever. And that, coming from one of my musical idols, changed my life on myself as an artist, my own perspective. And then he heard I Got So High I Saw Jesus before it came out, and he had the exact same response. And so my drive for the EP was to keep creating songs that I'm going to want to sing for the rest of my life. And I know I'm not going to sing every single song on that EP for the rest of my life, but if I had to, I would love to, because every single one of those songs, I'll sit and I'll play them on my piano. Or like the other day, I was sitting just out on the couch looking at the mountains that inspired the End of Everything. Like, after I watched this time lapse of the future and the way the end of the universe will come about, and, you know, looking at Earth before all of this happens and seeing that it's right in front of us right now. We have right now. We don't have. That's what I'm learning so much. You ask where I am, and where I'm at mentally is that I am living right now. I've lost my grandma this year that I love so fucking much, that I now know how valuable time is and how quickly it moves. There's just so many things that, like, I really in the past month even have just realized that there's a lot of change, a good change, not that there's bad things about me I want to change, but just things that I can one up, and that I can upgrade myself to this new level, and open-mindedness, and, you know, get to a point of confidence and believing in myself without validation or hesitation. And you know, that's the spot that I'm trying to get to, and I definitely feel myself growing in that. And a big help has been working with Mary.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You know what? That's beautiful. No, I mean, seeing knowing you personally, seeing your growth from when I first met you to now, you're like the bipolar opposite.
Yeah.
Of that. I mean, which it should be. This is the whole point of evolution. You're growing as a person. And it was surreal for me because, I mean, obviously with your mammy, we all spent Thanksgiving last year. So when this Thanksgiving came over, you know, it was upsetting. But for me, you know, she's not gone. Her energy is just transformed. You may not be able to perceive or see her, but you can definitely sense her.
I've for sure already gotten like so many messages from her that I know she is not gone. She is very busy doing her work that she was so excited to do. My grandma was the most unselfish, most loving woman that devoted herself to God and Christianity and believed in that with all of her, all that was made of her. And like, the one thing, you know, that gave me comfort about my grandma's passing was that she's finally doing what she was born to do. She wanted to be an angel. She wanted to do God's work. She wanted to be a part of God's church, and God called her home, and she's home and she's in heaven, and she reaches out to me all the time. I feel her all the time. There's times I'm talking about her and something will happen and everyone in the room just knows. And it's just, you know, you believe it or you don't, and you either like take it or you don't. And I've gotten these messages from her, and there's so much more beyond life, and that's another reason why, you know, I want to do this life right, because I want the afterlife to you know, be everything that I've heard about since I was a little girl, you know, and
Yeah.
that my pappy used to sing about, and that we learn in church. And I don't know, I know Mammy is so happy and fulfilling all the things that she knew she was destined to do. Like, she always knew that she was meant to do God's work, and that's exactly what she did.
Mm-hmm. That's such a beautiful perspective too. I mean, you know, because I mean, everyone who's listening, who's ever lost someone, I think they can relate to, you know, the hurt and the pain and everything else. But you know, it's the afterlife. So now we're focused in this life, and it's the perspective of, you know, the stresses we put amongst ourselves, the anxieties we put amongst ourselves, all these other situations that we relate to, that we put on ourselves, that make us sad and depressed and all these things. And in an event like losing someone, you know, kind of corrects all those things, and it makes you think like, why am I doing any of that? And it's really not worth it. It's just to focus on the people that you love, and
1000%.
you know, and the people that have passed over. I mean, I mean, you know, me with life after death it's nothing is permanent. Energy is just always moving. It's always on a vibration. It's always on a sound. It's always like, you know, Mary was the one who spoke about the sounds and the vibrations and everything else, and communicating with the other side through sounds.
Which
And
I listen to. I listen to my playlists that Mary gave me.
yeah.
I have. Sorry to cut you off, but
Oh,
like,
no, absolutely.
they help so much. You guys to listen to these sounds and tones. Lou can kind of give you the like exact stuff of what it's called, but Mary, Lou and Mary kind of are like my spirit guides here on Earth, and but yeah, I listen to these vibrations whenever I'm going to bed at night, and I have specific ones. Mary gave me some the other night when I was throwing up and anxious, and she was like, play this while you sleep. It's going to help your stomach. And it did. It really did. That was my first night of full sleep.
Yep.
Um,
And it's called what's it? It's called Signs Music. SINES.
yes.
It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify.
Spotify.
Yeah, and it has all the connotations and the meanings behind every sound and what it can kind of do, and it works. It's amazing. I mean, I've been listening to. There's even one when you're emailing that you can put on for better communication. So it will.
Wow, really?
Yeah, there's a way to open it up. So, for example, if you're taking a business meeting or a call, just before you take the call, you can put the sound on, and it will open up your communication wave to make you a better communicator and to receive better communication.
I'm going to listen to that when we get off of this. I'm going to put that on full blast.
I want to piggyback onto the Grammy nomination, Best New Artist. Did I read somewhere you're the first Cyrus to be Grammy nominated?
No, I am not. I am not. I am not. I am not. That would be crazy. My dad was nominated for 5 Grammys in a night. And
first female Cyrus.
Nope. I believe Miley was nominated for Wrecking Ball. If that's not true, then I would be very, very shocked.
I'm sure I read that, Noah.
I don't know.
I read it somewhere in a really like big publication that you were the first female.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but I do know my dad his very first time at his very first night at the Grammys was nominated for Five in a Night and didn't win one.
Yep.
And his time back at the Grammys was with Old Town Road. And
Oh, that's right.
I don't think you can come back with a song bigger than Old Town Road.
Wait. So, pre Old Town Road was he nominated?
Yes, for Five in a Night and didn't win one.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that you're the first female Cyrus.
I don't know if that's true. Disclaimer, I don't know if that's true.
Someone fact check.
I can't confirm that. And I would be super shocked and disappointed if I heard Wrecking Ball did not get nominated, or any of Miley's work has not been nominated for a Grammy yet.
Agreed. Yeah. All right. So just kind of still on the positive tip. Have you set any intentions for like moving into 2021? Obviously, we live in the now. But, you know, we kind of know now where we want to be or how we want to be, or is there any specific intentions you've set for next year?
Yeah, I want to be present. And there's a lot that's kept me from being present. As much as I smoke weed and I love weed and I will talk about weed and I will, whatever, I want to slow down on smoking weed. I want to, like, for my vocal reasons, for taking care of myself, like I want to slow down on smoking weed, but that also makes me like groggy sometimes and not present. And I want to be really present, because that's what this year, I think I learned the most out of everything, was that we missed a lot. I missed out on a lot.
Because it kind of puts you in that. Because I mean, I've recently started smoking again, but I smoke 2 part CBD and 1 part THC, so in the same flower. And if I smoke certain strains, it kind of makes you feel lazy.
Yeah.
Or like, I can't bother to. I'll do it tomorrow, and then it's like,
pour out the whole damn seal. I'm gonna get lazy.
Exactly, literally. So, and then now I started doing it like of an evening, like when the baby goes down, when you can kind of relax, and it's my workflow is so much better. I mean, like my energy levels are so much better. And the CBD one is like, you still get a little bit this 2 part CBD and 1 part THC. You still get the high. But you also get the benefit of what CBD brings, the kind of the no mind, I call it, even though my mind is pretty clear anyway. But in terms of, what's funny as well, I read something the other day that was like, the saying peace of mind.
Yes.
Right. I also read that peace of mind can't exist when there's mind. So that connotation is actually wrong. If you think about peace of mind, your mind is not peace. No mind is peace.
No.
So it should be peace of no mind. I don't know. That was just a brain fart I had that just came to me. But I think you're right. I think you're... So when someone says, I just want peace of mind,
avalanche in my brain.
Tell them no, peace of no mind.
My brain is rocking back and forth right now.
But I think for you, that's a good thing. I mean, again, that's the evolution. That's your growth, is the fact that you've kind of come to a realization that being present is the way to move forward. And I 100% agree. And maybe cutting down the weed is kind of one of those ways to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Because I just feel like, obviously, if you're just like sitting around smoking a blunt all day, you're not going to be present. And yeah, I want to be clear-headed. I want to be able to just focus on what's like really important, and that's family, and that's my work, not because that it's work. I just love my work, and I want to be great. I want to continue to be great at what I do. And I feel like some of my lifestyle choices could hold me back from that. And I don't want that. And so, I've never been one for like New Year's resolution, all of this stuff, but like, cause I'm, I don't like setting high hopes that I'm not going to follow. But this year, my one thing is to be present, and to, there's certain things, everybody has their things about themselves, that I'm working on personally that I want to remove from my life. And I know that once that toxicness is out of my life, this, you know, things that, you know, are become repetitive, that become a routine, you know, that aren't good for you, whether that's the people you're around, the things that you're doing. There's so much of that that I've just kind of shifted even in the past month, that like I know I'm so ready to go forward with the year and be positive. And I've gone through so much with my depression and my body dysmorphia, where I just want to have a good year. And I know that stuff's going to get in the way, and that's always going to be there on the side, and those are my things that I deal with. But it's learning how to tackle it and move forward than covering it up and just patching it up and saying I'll come back to this later. You know, I don't want to come back to it all later. I want to get to it right now, so I can live right now, you know, and not miss any moments. So yeah. Wait, Lou, my question for you. What were you gonna say?
You sound so grown.
Oh, I love you.
Oh my God. I love it.
I told you in the past 2 days I've like evolved.
Jesus. I'm like, where is Noah? Holy shit, I love this. No,
I love you.
I mean, this is literally the whole premise of why we do In My Fields, and it's personal growth, it's evolution. You know, I think we get, you know, anxious and depressed and have all these type of things when we remain stagnant, because we're energy. We have to constantly move. We have to constantly flow. And when you don't, that's when the kind of problems arise. Wow. I'm super proud of you. I love that.
I love you. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
For you, I can't believe we just had Freya's first birthday.
I know. Well, she's now, what, 13 months? You know what's funny
Yeah.
is the fact that, you know, when before I had a kid and parents would be like, oh, she's 14 and a half months. And I'd be like, so she's like 14 months or 15 months. And you'd be like, why would parents always
Why don't you just say like a year and
instead of 13 months?
Yeah.
Because Noah, the difference between Freya at 12 months to 13 months is like bipolar opposite. So every month, every week, she's different. Like every day, she's different. So for us now as parents, I realize why you give a specific date of how old she is, because it's every month is like a pivotal moment.
So different.
So different. Like she took 2 steps for the first time yesterday on her 13-month birthday. Yeah, exactly.
On her own?
On her own, yeah.
Did you get a video?
No, because I mean, you can't. It's not like you have a phone.
I know.
The moment, and but at 12 months, she was super unstable with her, or even last week. And
what about with her little car I got her? Is she running
she loves
around
that.
with
See,
her car?
that car's a blessing and a curse for us. She always wants to be driven in it. And so that means we have to always push her around the whole house. And if we stop, she starts crying. And then she knows the buttons. One button is the horn, and one is the ignition sound. So if we're not moving fast enough, she'll keep pressing the horn. And if we've stopped, she'll press the ignition. And she knows exactly what to do.
I created a monster when I brought Freya at 12 months old her first G-Wagon.
All black. I mean,
and it won't be her last. She's gonna manifest. She
loves it. Right now, we Teddy Ruxpin's on it, so she pushes Teddy Ruxpin around in it. And the great thing is that you can set it in and have it turn, so she can walk around in circles.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, which is great because she can.
Oh, you figured that out?
Yes.
That she's not just running into
no
the edges anymore.
Yeah, so she knows exactly, but she knows how to steer and everything. It's really quite scary.
I told you, she got her license already.
Yeah, she knows exactly what she's doing. But see, how you're describing now is we have to get back to that how children are. Freya did her first tantrum the other day with Charlene, and she basically didn't cry, but she did this like and like rolled around on the floor, and then like she rolled on one of her toys.
Was she trying to change her nappy?
No, she was trying to get she was trying to breastfeed, but it wasn't
Oh,
time to breastfeed.
Freya was angry.
She was angry, yeah. So she rolled
Okay.
around, and we were just watching her, kind of trying not to laugh. And she rolled on one of her favorite toys. And as she rolled on the toy, she looked at the toy and she was like, "Oh," and started playing. That's how like quickly their minds shut off from, "Oh, it's drama. Oh, no drama."
Yeah.
And I feel like
She
if
she saw Elmo and was like, happy, happy, dance, dance.
literally, so
She's over it.
and I'm like, if we can actually, as people, get as adults without all the conditioning, all the bullshit, as how you just described being present, when anxiety and stresses and depression comes in, you're right. You be truthful about it. You admit it. You talk about it. You express it enough until you've exhausted it, until the only option is for it to go away. But kids are just, they can drop it like that. So I feel like we
Right.
have it in us. We've just lost that process. And I think the way you described it so beautifully is exactly how we should be doing it, is that staying present. And that's how we do it, by staying present. And you always say on the episode, if you live in the past or the future, that's where the anxieties come on, because you're worrying about
1,000%.
one of the other, whereas none of those actually exist, because they're both created in the now.
Neither you can control.
You can, though.
Unless in this second,
in
right
this
this
in the
very
now,
second.
yes, you are the master and creator of your ship. Everyone who's listening, you are literally your emotions, your feelings, your attractions. It's you are the power that is there, that attracts everything like a magnet. We are that energy, we are that source.
My
And
dad always says, the past does not equal the future. The future's now.
how is Pups?
He's great. He's great. He's amazing. We just FaceTimed. Uh, because he got stuck over in Nashville during quarantine, so it's just been interesting, like getting there and back. Um, this was our first Thanksgiving in my entire life. I have never been with my family.
Who did you spend it with?
Alexa in New
Oh,
York.
that's right, you were in New York.
And it was amazing. I loved being with my best friend. And
Yep.
I also think a lot of this that's going on in my head had a lot to do with just going and being with my best friend and like, I don't know, having that Noah time, that normal Noah time with my best friend since I was 10 years old, and just hang out. And we did Thanksgiving. We drove to Cracker Barrel, which was all the way in New Jersey from the city. We got Thanksgiving dinner and all that, and we were, so happy. But I was sad to be away from my family, obviously. But this year, our traditions for Thanksgiving, you were with us last Thanksgiving and Mammy was there. Really, that day was kind of Mammy Day.
Yep.
That's kind of how we looked at Thanksgiving, is when do we pick up Mammy. And before Mammy got a little older, Mammy would always make the mashed potatoes, and we would look forward to Mammy's mashed potatoes. And we never celebrate Thanksgiving for the real meaning of Thanksgiving. Fuck the real meaning of Thanksgiving. It's actually terrible.
Yep.
Um, we're we're celebrating stealing land from the Native Americans, and it's not right. It's honestly the worst holiday. But we look at it as, I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful for the food on our table, and I'm thankful for the roof over our heads, and I'm thankful for everyone in this room. That was Freya's first Thanksgiving. I have a picture of her on my phone because I remember
Yep.
I remember I wanted to take a picture of how small she was compared to the turkey.
Yep.
And that's what Thanksgiving is about. Thanksgiving has never been about anything else for me, because honestly, I hate the meaning of the real Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My whole family does. We've never celebrated Thanksgiving for what it is.
Yep.
We celebrate Thanksgiving for our family, for the blessings that God has put into our lives. We've had such abnormal, unusual lives, especially me, myself, as a 20-year-old. I've seen the entire world basically, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for my job. I'm so thankful for my fans. I'm so thankful for my family, for you, for friends, So this year, with my grandma being gone, celebrating didn't I or doing Thanksgiving, I none of us really wanted to. It wasn't like um a big sad thing. It was just like I was in New York. I was in New York and was supposed to be there for work as well, but work got canceled due to the pandemic and all of that stuff. And so I decided to stay with Alexa and, not have my best friend alone on Thanksgiving. And, Mom and Miley were here in LA, but Brazen, Trace, and Brandy are in Nashville, and Dad's in Nashville. So it was just kind of hard for us to like all get thrown together this year, which made it a little different. But for the holidays, I'm going to go and I'm going to see my dad. I think I'm leaving here on the 13th or the 18th. And we'll go and we spend Christmas in Nashville. And then we'll pull my dad when we fly back over. As we all fly back over together, we'll bring him back. But there just hasn't really been a time for us to all get on an airplane and fly there like safely together. So we wait for all of us to like be able to get on one airplane safely together, test beforehand, test and do all of that whenever we get home. I was just about to say something about my brother, but I'll leave that for him. But like, there's so many things about, just like I'm excited to go home for and see and be there with my family.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since having the little one, like I love Christmas now. Like I have so many decorations up. We've got a beautiful tree up. Like we go super in.
But you're not gonna do Santa, right?
I'm not gonna do Santa. No,
We're not doing Santa.
I don't know. I mean, my wife's always like, "You should do Santa," but maybe I'll do Elmo again. I have the full Elmo.
She might just start thinking Elmo is the Christmas miracle.
He is.
He really is, guys. For those who don't know why we keep mentioning Elmo, Freya, my goddaughter, Lou's daughter, she loves Elmo, is just obsessed with Elmo. And Lou dressed as Elmo at her birthday party, and Charles, his wife, would not let him break character. There were some 4-year-olds there that would have maybe realized he was breaking character. Yeah. So he had to be in Elmo land, like the whole birthday party.
The voice and everything.
The voice and everything. So now we keep the big giant Elmo head on the floor. Is it still on the floor in the living room?
We put it away now because
she's over Elmo.
No, she kept dragging it around. It literally wouldn't leave her side. So I was like, no, I like Elmo to be a little special surprise for her every now and then, rather than just this big giant head in her play area that she's obsessed with, that, she dances around and everything else.
Yeah, it became like one of those like domes, that like a jungle gym. Like, yeah.
She drags it around the whole house, and you could literally say the word Elmo and she'll start freaking out.
Yeah, he didn't know he was buying her like a toy when he was buying this ginormous men's Elmo costume that came with a giant Elmo head that Freya just loves. And if you say happy, happy, dance, dance, she will, woo! Oh, she gets so excited.
I wish we could, like, as adults, or as, instantly have that much joy when you see, like, just Elmo. I'm just like, just that type of innocence is so special. And I, even because I battle with even, raising my daughter and being like, the universe, you are the controller of your universe. Anything you want and anything you don't want, you can attract just by your feelings and stuff. And I don't know anyone who's been raised like that. Maybe there is a few spiritual people who, who understand the universe, but we're all creatures of habit.
Mary's children.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, I'd love to have a conversation with them too, to understand the full power that they possess, but knowing the power, but it's also the maturity behind the actual power as well. Because I'm pretty sure, if kids thought about a giant yacht in their backyard, a yacht would appear somehow in some manifestation of it.
Well, I mean, Freya sat and manifested Elmo into the living room. So
100%. But
and
she,
a G wagon.
yeah, she also gets things like, you know, like her Christmas stuff is going to be like art supplies and, you know, a small table and chairs and paints and all this type of stuff. And I think I'm excited for that because, you know, I don't think I ever really experienced that as a kid. So I'm kind of like reliving my youth through her, and it's beautiful. Like I can't wait. I just got Disney Plus. She can't even stay still for like 10 minutes, let alone watch Disney movies. But I can't wait to sit down and watch them with her.
What's your first Disney movie that you're gonna show Freya?
I think Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
I
Because
like
you got the street Arab dude. That's me. You have the
That's
wife.
me.
You have the wife who's like the Princess Jasmine.
Yo,
That's my wife.
Jasmine.
Literally, yeah.
Literally, if you guys saw Charlene, Charlene is Jasmine. Like
And you know, I have my little girl is my little Abu.
Do you know I've only seen this movie one time?
You have not. You know the little monkey is Abu.
Okay, no. I've genuinely only seen Aladdin one time. I am so bad with Disney movies. I'm bad with any movie. Here's what I'm like. As a kid, I would watch the movies, and if I got like a personal attachment to it, I just rewatch the same movie. So like my movies were like The Jungle Book. Loved The Jungle Book.
Well, that's like that's the great one.
Yeah, but like The Lion King. The first time I saw The Lion King, I was a grown adult.
Really?
Yes.
Are you talking about the new Lion King or the
No.
old one?
The old one.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah.
I was a grown adult when I watched The Lion King. But my favorite other like Disney movie as a kid was Sleeping Beauty because I loved when Maleficent turned into a dragon.
Oh, okay.
I'd watch that all the time.
Is that the old one? That's the old one.
The old one.
Yeah. Okay.
And so there were things about movies that I would really like specific parts. And then I would just rewatch those movies. So and my parents weren't really like, the first time I watched The Lion King, my dad was like, "What? You've never seen The Lion King?" And I was like, "Well, wouldn't you have been the one to show it to me?"
He's like, "I'm a bad dad."
So we watched The Lion King together. My first time. Yeah.
But it's weird. I mean, like when you watch the old, have you seen the new one?
With Beyonce.
Yeah, but I'm talking like when you're so as a kid obsessed with like again the Lion King or any like Aladdin for example, and then you see the new Aladdin, you're like it's kind of not the same because you're sitting there, you're watching it based upon the childhood feelings that you think you had then. And you're trying to it's like, you know, when you go out and have a great night with your friends and you go out the next night, you try and recreate that same feeling and it's not the same.
You're not, you're trying to chase the same thing.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, those type of movies are obviously not for us. It's for people who haven't, the new generation who haven't. So
for sure.
For me now, I think showing my daughter would have to be the old ones first and then the newer ones. But
you just have to promise me you will leave it to me to show her Frozen.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't sit through Frozen, so that's gonna have to be
you'll leave it to me 100%. Because those are like my favorite Disney movies ever made. Frozen like 1 and Frozen 2.
You know, when you see them when you're younger, you're like, the graphics are fucking amazing. This shit is blowing my mind. The animation, and then you look at it now, you're like, it's kind of shit. Because and then you see the new one, you're like, holy shit, this is like graphics.
Yeah.
I always wonder like what movies are going to be like when we're super older. And, you know, like you have like, you know, I don't know, the super HD now. Those are not even going to be a thing. Because, you know, like you had the cassette, then the VHS, then the DVD. And now you have, it's all digital. I mean, what's the next step from that, say 40 years from now?
I have no idea. Because I just watched this Scarlett Johansson movie. where she... I really wish I knew. Ghost in the Shell.
I haven't seen that. Is that new?
I feel like maybe it's like 2 years old. I don't know. I don't know. Brian was watching it.
Is that when she turns into like a
Like,
computer or a consciousness
yeah, they
or a
take her
platform?
living brain.
Yes.
They take her living brain, and they talk about her ghost being in this body. It's just so wild. And the future, like, we were watching it and we were like, this is not that far away. Like, just like the holographic shit going on in the sky and like everything like that, that I don't even know what, I don't even know if movies will, what they'll be in 40 years, or what anything will be in 40 years, because I just feel like technology is moving so fast. And like, we were looking at this movie and I was like, there's no way that this is that far away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like all of this stuff, it was just like so crazy. It was one of the craziest movies. You should watch it. It's wild.
I'm going to. One question for you is, if you could say, for example, if someone gave you a pill and said you could live forever, would you?
You cut out, but was it, if I could live forever, would I?
Yes. If someone gave you say a pill to take and it said you're going to live forever if you take this, and you will, would you? Because I always ask myself those questions. Like when we had
No.
Peter Diamandis on, it was like, oh, you can upload your consciousness and you can live forever. Like that's like in the near distant future. Would you?
I guess if the people around me were able to do the same, that I love.
Hmm.
But if, not to get really deep, but if not, there's no meaning for me to be on the earth.
Hmm.
So no, I wouldn't.
No, neither would I. I'm kind of, you know, what's people who fear death and all that type of stuff. I have such a innate relationship for it because you know it's guaranteed. You know,
For sure. I
so
mean, I'm like,
for
for
sure.
sure,
So for
guaranteed.
me, it's something so natural. So there, I don't know. Something inside me says you can't fear it because I know it's not permanent. And you know me with studying near death experiences, and we've had a bunch of people on who have come back with hard evidence themselves of the stories of things they've seen, on the other side. It's just fascinating. I love those type of talks and those aspirations of people who come back and completely transform their lives from what they had to what they have now. I don't think it's
I,
something to fear. What's your fear of it though?
well, I remember you and I, we talked about my fear of death, and like the sadness that I'm afraid of feeling. When Mary and I discuss, when she was, presented with her life, it was kind of like a movie flashing before her eyes. And I asked her, what was the feeling of that when you got to look back on your entire life? That's been my biggest fear about death my entire life.
Yeah, but what did
It,
she say about the feeling though? She said she
she
felt
said
love. She said she felt no
yeah, and
judgment.
that she felt no judgment. For me, my fear of that was looking back and being like, my family, like, no, no, like, I don't, like, I thought it would be a sad, scary feeling. But recently, I have my grandma to go home to. I have my grandpas. I have my family that, honestly, I'm not afraid anymore. That it genuinely took Mammy passing away for me to realize I'm not afraid, because I'm not going to be alone on the other side. Your family's going to be there, and that's what I believe, and that's what I believe since I was a little girl. That's what my great grandfather, that I'm named after, Alvin Lindsay, that's what he preached about. That's, everything that I was taught to believe in. And you know when I think about death, and after that, it's like, why wouldn't you want to believe that you're going to see your family again, and you're going to be
Hmm.
reunited with your family, and you're going to, and that's my hope. And that's why this fear, like, yeah, I'm scared of it. I've been scared of death since I was a kid. I don't know why. That's been like my biggest fear, that and heights. And so, like, you know I don't know. It's just something about this year that made that change, that made me almost just comforted, especially after getting the signs that I've gotten from Mammy, that it's not scary, that she's okay, that she's doing the things that she's fulfilling herself with the things that she was supposed to be doing, that she was destined to be doing. And I know that she's in a place where she's so much healthier, so much happier. She has a new body, she has a new form. That's where I'm starting to get less afraid of death.
Wow. You know what? I think as you start practicing more and more, because it is a practice of the staying present, I think you'll understand that even more and more. Because once you start living in the now, you'll be like, okay, I understand how this works or how this is going to work. I want to dive into on a couple of new music, just for fans listening or anyone else. I know you're super excited about what's coming.
Yeah. I don't you cut out.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My new music, uh, I have my new single coming. I can't say that, so we'll cut that out. I have a new single coming really soon. I'm gonna be announcing the date for that pretty soon. And working on my album.
Yeah.
And this year is really focusing on my album and it being, this is my very first album and I want it to be everything that I want it to be, not that anybody else wants it to be. I've been saying I'm going to make an album since 17 years old. It was going to be called NC-17. That never happened. So I'm very excited to finally start working on an album. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Perfect. I got the end of that. That was are you still going to call it NC-17?
No, I'm not going to call it NC. No, I think it would be hilarious if I did.
NC-21.
NC-21 coming soon, but yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about this album and there's a lot going into it and it's very strategic because how I am with my music. If I have multiple things coming this year that I'm so excited for and it's not even just my own music and I'm just as excited for that as I am for my own personal music that's solo and and so it's going to be a really 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 cool ending of the year and even cooler beginning of the new year. But that being said, I'm not forgetting what's going on in the real world, and that definitely hangs on my mind every day. So every time that I I don't know, I just do a lot of reflecting on what's going on right now, and I want to be able to help as much as I can. There's so little and only so much I can do as who I am. And so I try to use my platform to raise awareness and do all that. And I know that we have a lot of hard work as a country. We've gone through a lot. And I know we have a lot going, ahead of us next year that I think a lot of us are nervous for. We were all extremely nervous for the election and, now it's time to make a better change. And, as I'm thinking about my music and thinking about my album, I'm also thinking about, people and their lives and yeah, just what's going on in the world and not just, again, not focusing on me so much.
Yeah. I mean, I want to dive in just a little bit on love and self-love and because my goal is to make people realize or at least find a way to self-love or learn to self-love. How has love treated you this year, Noah? In terms of, self-love, whether it's relationships, whatever, have you learned to kind of or found ways to help you self-love? I mean, I'm not talking about like obsessive, oh, I love myself, even though that's great too. It's more of a because I think people like us tend to take care of other people first rather than really reflecting on our self-love for ourselves. So just in kind of a year reflection of how love has treated you or how you've treated love this year. I'd love to know more about that from your perspective.
I think I've learned a lot about love this year and like how many different forms it comes in and how many ways different people show their ways of love. Um, whether it's hard for them or easy, or hard for me or easy. Um, Self love towards myself has always been super hard, but I know that the first step of wanting to get better with that is self love. And I have to love myself to want to help myself. And so that was the first step of self love that I'd struggled with for a very long time. And I think, yeah, just very recently, I'm starting to get used to the feeling of a little bit of self love. And the reason I put a little bit is because I still have, my personal struggles every day. But yeah, I definitely learned a lot about love and, you know, the the great and terrible powers it has. Um, it's a pretty heavy weapon as well, and I've learned a lot about it this year.
I love that. See, I'm shocked, Noah, because the growth that you've had for it. I mean, because I analyze and I dissect and I understand people's powers they have and the attractions they have, and I'm seeing the need. Remember, I told you about the needle is on one side or the other. If you can get that needle in the middle, you're operating on a path of no resistance, and you're operating at a level that you should be operating or vibration. And seeing you and hearing you and seeing all these things that you're aware of now. It's a beautiful thing, and I mean, people listening who are who are trying to find the self love and the self care and just it's practice. You have to practice every day. I mean, it's like a muscle. It's like something you have to train because we've been living the same way we've been living for a very long time, and it's not going to change overnight. It can change overnight if you want it to. But I think realistically, as humans, we condition and we're trapped in this cycle. And I think you're a perfect example of someone who's, understands exactly who she is or trying to understand who she is, trying to find the solution rather than the negative side of it. That's my new mantra is like, what's the solution here? If there's an issue come up, it's like, it's always what's the solution? There, the issue is the issue, but we have to always find the solution to our own problems. And that's kind of been my personal growth for this whole year, which I've thoroughly enjoyed watching the people around me or giving my advice as much as I can and allowing them to take it on and grow and really learn like you have. I mean, I've learned from you so much about my own self. And I know the lockdown's going on. And to be honest, me, I'm a hermit, so I don't really know what's going on. I don't really, I don't really. um. So, but I see that there's so much positives coming. Because we've been, I've seen the resilience. I take the little one for walks, and I see all these signs of like, we're in this together. So there's like a sense of community which I feel hasn't really been there since I've been in the US. And the whole Thanksgiving thing to me is foreign anyway, because we don't really learn about in schools. You don't really learn about history of the US or anyone else. You kind of learn about the British history and not really the bad things. It's always the kind of surface driven things. And for the first time ever this year, I mean, we went to a friend of ours, and they cooked this. It's probably the best food ever. It was like soul food Thanksgiving dinner. It was insane,
Yum.
so good. And we all stood in a circle, and we all held hands, and we basically each person had to say what they were thankful for. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, I've never done that shit in my life. I mean, I'm constantly like, I looked at it was the full moon yesterday. I looked at the moon. I was like, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for so many things. But, saying it out loud in front of a ton of people was super empowering. And everyone was just like laughing and joking and this and that. And, and it was done from such a place of love, which I feel like, people are now, the meaning of Thanksgiving is transforming into understanding what that connotation is, and transforming that negative connotation into love, and projecting that love to the people around us, and projecting the meaning, and obviously not forgetting where that history is, but transforming that history into something of a solution.
For sure.
And I think that's kind of what I've learned this year. And I'm excited about now. I'm excited about what we're doing. I'm excited about what you're doing.
The future is now.
Shout out to Billy.
That's all I hear whenever people talk about future, present, anything. Past does not equal future. Future's now.
I know. It's true, though. I mean, it really is true if you kind of basically break it down. But again, I love being on this In My Fields journey with you.
Me too.
This is super positive, super kind of, the messages that we receive. I want to thank get so many social media messages from people saying the podcast has changed their lives. They learned so much about spiritual awareness and manifestations and all these type of things that, we'd never normally have conversations about.
I'm learning just as much as I feel like our listeners are learning, which is the greatest part.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, sorry, my dogs are barking, but like, any garbage truck or delivery truck that drives by, Mello's just on it. But I forget what I was saying at this point. Never mind.
I think we're good. I think we should, it's just, I mean, we were just talking about, this kind of reflection and this being our first kind of one-on-one, which is kind of amazing. And we'll keep doing these, obviously. And we have some more great guests coming on, which will be dropping every Wednesday. But yeah, I mean, thank you. Noah.
Thank you, Lou, for being on In My Fields and letting.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. How do two co-hosts and the other one on Thanks for having me?
I know.
See you next week. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you when we have a guest on here. I love you, Lou.